The moon of Lyris 9 hung in silence, cold and silver beneath a sky filled with distant stars. The research outpost stood alone, a collection of metal domes surrounded by endless dust. It was not a place for warmth or comfort, it was a place for science and silence. But for Captain Aaron Vale, a human soldier turned liaison officer, it was a new kind of mission. He was there to work with the Illyrians, a race of tall, graceful beings with silver-blue skin and eyes that glowed faintly like living gems. Aaron had met many species before, but none like them. They were calm, logical, and almost too perfect. Their voices were music, their movements like flowing water. And among them was Dr. Celia Wren, the lead Illyrian biologist. From the moment he saw her, Aaron could tell she was different, curious, cautious, but not cold. She studied everything around her, including him, with quiet fascination. Their first meeting took place inside the sterile white lab. Machines hummed softly, and the faint blue light gave the room a strange, dreamlike glow. Aaron stood beside the examination table, holding a small silver device. This, he explained, is a med injector. It's used for vaccinations and nanite treatments. Safe, simple, and fast. Celia tilted her head slightly, her glowing eyes narrowing as she observed the tool. It injects something inside the body? She asked softly. Aaron nodded. Yeah, it sends medicine straight into the bloodstream. Works like a charm, she blinked, her face showing genuine alarm. That's going inside me? Her voice trembled slightly, the musical tone carrying a note of fear. Aaron hesitated, realizing she was serious. To her people, the idea of piercing the body with a foreign object was strange, almost sacred. The Illyrians healed through light therapy and resonance, never by injection. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Then he smiled gently. Only if you want it to. It's completely safe, I promise. Celia looked at him uncertainly, her silver hands folded tightly in front of her. Humans are strange, she murmured. You allow such things so easily, Aaron chuckled. We've learned to trust our tools, and sometimes we have to take a little pain to get better. That answer seemed to linger with her. She stared at the injector, then at him. His tone wasn't mocking or proud, it was kind. For someone like her, raised in a society that valued perfection and control, that warmth was unsettling. Your species fascinates me, she finally said, her voice softer now. You live such fragile lives, yet you are not afraid of the things that might break you. Aaron shrugged with a small smile. Guess that's what makes us human. A small silence followed, filled only by the hum of the machines. Then, to his surprise, Celia smiled, a small, uncertain expression, but beautiful in its honesty. From that moment, something invisible shifted between them. She began to ask more questions, not just about medicine, but about humanity itself. Why humans laughed even when tired. Why they risked pain for progress. Why they carried scars like medals instead of hiding them. Aaron, in turn, asked her about her people. He learned that Illyrians never touched casually, that they shared emotions through light patterns in their skin. He noticed how her glow brightened when she was curious and dimmed when she was shy. By the end of that first day, they stood side by side in the quiet lab, surrounded by the sterile hum of alien technology, and yet, the silence felt warm. Celia finally spoke again, her voice thoughtful. Perhaps, she said slowly, our two species are not so different. You seek understanding through courage. We seek it through patience. Maybe we both have something to learn. Aaron looked at her and smiled. Maybe we do. And as the stars shimmered outside the dome, a strange friendship was born. From curiosity, from fear, and from one small question that started it all. That's going inside me? Neither of them knew then that those words would become the beginning of something far greater than science, something that would change both their worlds forever. Days turned into weeks on the lonely moon of Lyris 9, and the once cold research station began to feel alive. The sterile halls echoed with soft conversation, laughter, and the sound of curiosity. Dr. Selyarin and Captain Aaron Vale had grown used to working side by side. What began as a cautious alliance slowly turned into a quiet companionship. Celia watched Aaron closely, fascinated by his energy. Humans, she realized, were creatures of warmth and motion. They smiled often even when they were tired. They joked to hide pain. They touched things and people and with ease as if the world belonged to them. Illyrians were not like that. They lived in perfect control, never showing too much emotion. But when she saw Aaron laugh, When she heard his deep voice break the silence, she began to feel something strange inside her, something warm and unfamiliar. One afternoon, they sat across from each other in the lab, surrounded by glowing data screens. Aaron was showing her images of human cities, oceans, forests, sunlight, and rain. Celia leaned closer, her eyes wide. "Your world is beautiful," she whispered. Aaron smiled proudly. "It's home. Messy, loud, sometimes dangerous, but beautiful, yeah." Celia looked at him for a long moment. "We have no oceans. Only crystal plains. We do not know the sound of wind." There was a trace of sadness in her tone. "Sometimes I wonder if we forgot how to live. While trying to be perfect," Aaron's smile softened. "Maybe perfection isn't living," he said quietly. "Maybe it's just existing." The word struck her deeply. She had been raised to believe emotion was weakness, that control was strength. But here was this human, imperfect, scarred, and so full of life. And somehow he seemed stronger than anyone she had ever known. As the days passed, they learned each other's ways. Aaron learned how Illyrians could change the color of their skin to show emotion. Light blue for calm, green for curiosity, gold for joy. He found it beautiful, like watching the aurora lights move across her body. Celia, in return, learned about human expressions. The small smiles, the raised brows, the teasing grins. Both were fascinated, as if discovering a new language. Sometimes, after long hours in the lab, they would share stories. Aaron spoke of his mother, of growing up near the sea, of watching the stars and wondering if someone else was watching them back. Celia told him of the Illyrian councils, of endless debates, of lives spent in silence and duty. When she spoke, Aaron could hear the loneliness hiding behind her perfect words. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, the light inside the dome turned golden. Celia was quiet, staring at her reflection in the window. "Aaron," she said softly, "why do humans risk so much for others, even when there is no promise of reward?" Aaron looked at her, his eyes thoughtful. "Because sometimes the only thing keeping someone alive is knowing they're not alone." Celia turned to face him, her glow flickering faintly. "Not alone," she repeated, as if testing the words. "We Illyrians have never said such things. We are one mind, one people, but not one heart." He smiled gently. "Then maybe that's what humanity can teach you." For the first time, she smiled back, a real soft smile that reached her glowing eyes. In that golden light, she looked almost human. That night, after Aaron had gone to rest, Celia stood alone in the lab. She held the small human med injector in her hand, the same one that had once frightened her. Her reflection shimmered on its surface. She whispered to herself, "You allow things to enter your body, your heart, your life. And somehow you grow stronger, not weaker." Her voice trembled with emotion she could not name. She placed the injector gently on the table and looked out at the stars. Somewhere deep inside her, something had begun to change. It wasn't the technology. It wasn't the science, it was him, the human who smiled through fear, who spoke with kindness, who showed her that being alive meant more than perfection. For the first time in her life, Dr. Selyarin felt the warmth of humanity, and it scared her in a way no alien weapon ever could. The peace on Lyris 9 ended without warning. What had been quiet research turned into chaos in just a few moments. The soft hum of machines was replaced by alarms that screamed through the lab halls. The lights flashed red, and the calm air filled with tension and fear. Captain Aaron Vale ran toward the quarantine chamber, his boots thudding against the metal floor. "What happened?" he shouted. A scientist pointed toward the sealed lab. "Containment breach." One of the biosamples broke open. Inside, Dr. Selyarin was already there. She had rushed in when the first alarm sounded, trying to lock down the systems, but she was too late. A transparent tank had cracked, releasing a cloud of faint green mist into the air. The pathogen was spreading fast. "Celia, get out," Aaron yelled through the glass wall. He slammed his hand against the control panel, trying to open the emergency door. She shook her head, her silver blue hair flowing around her face.
"If I leave now, it spreads to the entire base."
"I must contain it." Aaron's chest tightened. He could see the determination in her glowing eyes, and the fear hidden behind it. She typed rapidly on the console, sealing off the section and venting the contaminated air outside. But it came at a cost. The system locked her in. When the door finally opened, she stumbled out, gasping for air. Her skin glowed faintly green, infected, Aaron caught her before she fell. "Celia, no, stay with me," he shouted, his voice breaking. Her breathing was shallow, her glow flickering like a dying flame. "The pathogen," she whispered. "It affects only Illyrian cells, not humans." He felt helpless as he carried her to the medical bay. The machines scanned her body, projecting data on the screens. The virus was eating her from within, breaking down her lattice structure, the energy pattern that kept Illyrians alive. The doctors said she had hours, maybe less. Aaron refused to accept that. He worked through the night, moving between terminals, scanning samples, searching for anything that could save her. Sweat ran down his forehead, his hands trembling. "There has to be something," he muttered again and again. The other scientists eventually left, saying it was hopeless. But he stayed. He couldn't walk away. Not from her. Not after everything they had shared. Then he saw it. A possibility. Human nanite serums, tiny machines designed to rebuild human cells. They had never been tested on Illyrians. It was dangerous. It could destroy her from the inside. But doing nothing meant losing her forever. He picked up the small silver injector, the same one that had scared her the first day they met. Celia lay on the bed, her breathing weak, her glow dim. When she opened her eyes and saw him holding the injector, she managed a faint smile. "That's going inside me," she whispered weakly. Aaron's throat tightened. He knelt beside her and took her cold hand in his. "Only if you trust me," he said softly. Her eyes glowed faintly, a tear rolling down her silver cheek. "I trust you, Aaron Vale," she whispered. With shaking hands, he pressed the injector to her arm and activated it. A soft hiss filled the room. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her body convulsed. The glow beneath her skin turned from blue to burning gold. The machines beeped wildly. Aaron held her as she screamed in pain. "Stay with me." "Just hold on," he cried. "It burns inside me," she gasped. "I know," he whispered, his heart breaking. "That means it's working." Hours passed like years. The monitors flickered, data changing faster than he could read. The nanites were fighting, adapting, healing. Her glow steadied, then pulsed brighter. When the first rays of morning light touched the dome, Celia's eyes opened again. They weren't just blue anymore. They shimmered with faint traces of gold. Aaron stared at her, exhausted but smiling. "You're alive," he whispered. Her voice was weak but full of wonder. "Your medicine, it changed me." He squeezed her hand gently. "Then maybe it saved you too." Outside, the alarms went silent. The outpost was calm again. But nothing inside that room would ever be the same, because for the first time, an alien heart was beating with a touch of humanity inside it. The medical bay was quiet now, but the air still carried the memory of pain and fear. Dr. Selyarin lay on the medical bed, her silver-blue skin glowing faintly with golden veins that pulsed under the surface. The human nanites were still inside her, working, repairing, and changing her. Her once cold body now felt warm, almost alive in a way she had never known before. Captain Aaron Vale sat beside her, his eyes red from exhaustion. He hadn't slept in 2 days. His uniform was wrinkled, his hands still trembling from the long hours of watching her fight for life. Every time she had screamed, he had wanted to stop. But every time she begged him to trust, he had stayed. When she finally opened her eyes again, he felt tears rise to his own. Her eyes, once deep blue, now shimmered with faint gold streaks, beautiful and strange. She looked at him for a long moment before whispering, "You didn't leave." Aaron shook his head slowly. "Couldn't. Someone had to make sure you came back." Her lips curved into a faint, tired smile. "You risked everything," he exhaled deeply. "You would have done the same for me." Celia's gaze drifted to the med injector resting on the table. "That thing," she said weakly, her voice soft and trembling. "It went inside me and I thought it would destroy me. But it saved me instead." Aaron smiled faintly. "Guess humanity has a strange way of helping people." A small laugh escaped her, fragile but real. It was the first time he had heard her laugh, and for a moment the sterile white room didn't feel so cold anymore. But the doctors didn't share his relief. They whispered quietly to each other, exchanging uncertain glances. The nanites had fused with her cellular structure in unpredictable ways. No one knew what she was now. Not fully Illyrian, not fully human. Something new, something neither world would understand. Aaron didn't care. She was alive. That was enough. But Celia knew her people wouldn't see it that way. My kind will never accept this, she said softly. They will call me tainted. Then let them talk, Aaron replied, his tone firm. You survived. That's what matters. Celia turned her face toward him. You do not understand, Aaron. The Illyrian Council, they see purity as sacred. They will not allow me to exist like this. I am wrong now. Her voice broke slightly at the end. Aaron leaned closer, his voice gentle but steady. You're not wrong. You're proof that we can survive together, human and Illyrian. You're stronger than both of us ever were alone. She looked at him and for a long time said nothing. Then she reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were cool, but he felt warmth spreading through the touch, not physical warmth, but something deeper. I can feel them, she whispered suddenly. The nanites! They're alive inside me. They move with my pulse. It's strange but beautiful. Her golden veins shimmered softly with every heartbeat. Aaron smiled tiredly. That's your body healing. You're changing, but you're still you. Her expression turned thoughtful. Maybe change is not something to fear. Maybe it is. What makes life continue? Aaron nodded. That's something humans had to learn the hard way. She gave a soft, weak laugh. Perhaps now I will learn it too. Outside the medical dome, the twin suns of Lyris 9 rose slowly over the barren landscape, casting a golden glow through the glass walls. The light touched her skin, and her golden veins shimmered in answer. Like the suns themselves were greeting her rebirth. Aaron watched her quietly, feeling something stir in his chest, more pride, relief, and something deeper he didn't dare name. She turned to him, her glowing eyes soft and full of emotion. Aaron Vale, she said quietly, your courage. It is inside me now. I can feel it. He smiled and gently squeezed her hand. Then keep it safe for me. And as the light of dawn filled the room, the alien woman who had once feared the touch of a human injector now carried within her the living proof of what humanity could do, not through conquest or technology, but through compassion and courage that reached beyond the stars. The following days were filled with silence and whispers. The news of Dr. Selyarin's survival spread quickly through the Illyrian research teams. But along with wonder came fear. The scientists stared at her as if she were something unnatural. Her glowing golden veins pulsed softly beneath her silver skin, a reminder of the human nanites now living inside her. To them, she was no longer pure, no longer one of them. Captain Aaron Vale noticed how the others avoided her. When she entered a room, they fell silent. When she tried to speak, they stepped back slightly, their eyes full of uncertainty. It broke something inside him to see her like that. The proud, brilliant Illyrian scientist now treated as an outcast. Celia felt their fear deeply. Her people had always valued perfection and balance, but now she was something they could not define. Her body no longer followed the patterns of their kind. Her light no longer shimmered the same shade of blue. She was different. And in her world, different meant dangerous. One morning, she stood in front of the mirror inside her quarters. The golden veins beneath her skin shone softly like sunlight caught in water. She touched her reflection with trembling fingers. This isn't me, she whispered. I'm changing. Behind her, Aaron's voice came softly. Maybe you're becoming something stronger. She turned to face him, tears glimmering in her glowing eyes. My people think I am corrupted, Aaron. They have already called for the council's judgment. They want to study me like an infected specimen. He frowned. You saved them from a spreading pathogen. They should be thanking you. Her voice trembled. Gratitude is not enough when fear controls the heart. To them I am a danger, a broken mirror of what they should be. Aaron walked closer, his steps slow, careful. Then forget their rules. You're alive, Celia. You fought death itself. That doesn't make you broken. It makes you brave. She shook her head. Bravery will not protect me from their laws. A silence stretched between them. Then Aaron reached out and gently lifted her hand. You remember what you told me the first time we met? You said humans were strange because we let things go inside us. Tools, emotions, pain. And we survived. Maybe that's your strength now, too. You let humanity in and it made you stronger, not weaker. Her voice was barely a whisper. Stronger or lost? He looked into her glowing eyes. Maybe both, but maybe that's what it means to grow. Her chest tightened at his words. She wanted to believe him, but when she looked at the door and saw 2 Illyrian guards waiting outside to escort her to medical observation, her hope wavered. Aaron's hands clenched. They're not taking you. Celia looked at him sadly. You cannot stop them. This is my world. You will only make things worse. I don't care, Aaron said, his voice firm. You didn't let me die when that virus spread. Now it's my turn. Her lips parted in shock. You would defy their law for me? He nodded slowly. For a friend. For someone who showed me that courage isn't just human. Tears rolled down her silver cheeks, catching the golden light that pulsed under her skin. I do not understand you, Aaron Vale. Humans, you fight even when you know you might lose. He smiled gently. That's because some things are worth losing for. Celia turned away, her voice trembling. If they find out what you did, the injection, the fusion, they'll punish you too. Aaron took a deep breath. Then I guess we'll both be outcasts. For a long moment she just stood there, her heart beating hard against her chest. Then slowly she reached out and touched his arm. The moment her fingers brushed his skin, a faint golden shimmer passed between them. A shared light, warm and alive. Your courage, she whispered softly. It is inside me now, but it feels like it's growing. Aaron smiled, his eyes gentle. Then let it grow, Celia. Let it change the galaxy. Outside, the guards waited and the council prepared their judgment. But in that quiet room, between two hearts from different worlds, something stronger than fear was born, a bond of trust, courage, and the first spark of something that neither law nor science could explain. And as the golden light shimmered around them, the line between human and Illyrian slowly began to fade. The council's judgment was swift and merciless. News spread through the research station like wildfire. Celia Wren, the brilliant Illyrian biologist, was now considered a threat to her people. Her hybrid form, touched by human nanites, was unnatural in their eyes. They demanded she be confined for study, isolated until her impurity could be corrected or removed. When Aaron heard this, something inside him broke. He refused to watch the woman who had laughed with him, argued with him, and shared her life stories be imprisoned by fear. I won't let them take you, he muttered to himself, determination hardening every word. That night the lab was quiet except for the soft hum of machinery. Celia sat on the edge of her bed, her golden veins glowing faintly. She looked at Aaron, her glowing eyes full of worry. If you try, they will see you as a criminal, she whispered. He shook his head firmly. I don't care. I've seen what they want to do to you. I've seen your courage, your life. I won't let them erase that. Celia hesitated. She had always followed rules, respected authority. But she had also learned from Aaron what it meant to fight for something truly important. The thought of leaving the only world she had known was terrifying. Yet more terrifying was the idea of being trapped. Finally she nodded. Then, let us go. The escape began quietly. Aaron and Celia moved through the labyrinthine corridors of the outpost, sticking to shadows. Security drones hummed nearby, their sensors sweeping the hallways. Each step brought tension, fear, and a strange exhilaration. Aaron glanced at her. You ready? She looked back at him, her glowing veins pulsing rapidly. I am ready. For the first time I feel free. They reached the shuttle bay. The massive airlock doors loomed ahead, guarded by two armed sentries. Aaron's heart raced. There was no room for hesitation. He grinned at Celia, whispering, Follow my lead. In a swift motion, he disabled the locks, motioned for her to enter the shuttle, and then engaged the launch sequence. Alarms blared behind them, red lights flashing as guards shouted. Celia's chest heaved as adrenaline coursed through her body. For the first time, she felt alive, not because of duty or intellect, but because of fear, trust, and courage. She looked at Aaron, her golden glow shining brighter than ever. You are reckless, she whispered, half in awe, half in exasperation. He laughed, tense but joyful. Maybe, but it works. The shuttle lifted off, blasting past the moon's surface. Outside, the barren landscape stretched endlessly, but Celia didn't care. Her heart was racing, not from the speed, but from the realization that she had chosen something different, someone different. Once in orbit, the alarm ceased, replaced by the quiet hum of the shuttle's engines. She sat back, exhaling slowly, her glowing veins dimming to a soft, steady light. I cannot believe we did it, she murmured. Aaron reached for her hand. Believe it. You trusted me, and now you're alive. You're not just surviving, Celia. You're winning. Her voice trembled, full of emotion she had never allowed herself before. I was afraid. Afraid of leaving everything behind, afraid of being different. But now I see it was the only way to truly live. He squeezed her hand gently. The galaxy is bigger than fear, and sometimes the only way to survive is to defy it. She looked out of the viewport, watching stars stream past as the shuttle left Lyris 9 behind. A strange smile spread across her face. "Your courage," she whispered softly. "It has gone inside me, and I feel stronger, braver, alive in a way I never knew." Aaron smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "Good, because we're just getting started." For the first time, neither human nor Illyrian law could touch them. In that small shuttle, hurtling through space, two beings from different worlds shared a bond stronger than fear, stronger than judgment, stronger than any law. Celia leaned against him, her golden glow flickering softly, and whispered, "Thank you, Aaron Vale, for everything." He kissed her forehead gently. "No, thank you for trusting me. That's what makes humans human." And as the shuttle raced into the stars, the first step of a new life, one born of courage, trust, and defiance, had begun. The galaxy outside was vast and uncertain, but inside the shuttle, hope burned brighter than any star. Years passed, and the story of Dr. Sellurin and Captain Aaron Vale became legend in hidden corners of the galaxy. The Illyrian Council never forgave her for leaving, but that no longer mattered. She had found a new life among the stars, a life not bound by fear or rigid laws, a life where she could grow in ways her old world had never allowed. Celia had changed. Her silver-blue skin now glimmered with delicate traces of gold, the nanites within her weaving a living bridge between Illyrian biology and human ingenuity. She used her new body, her hybrid nature, to heal, to teach, and to inspire. The Human Illyrian Medical Institute, the first of its kind, was her gift to the galaxy, a place where knowledge, compassion, and courage could flourish together. Aaron stood beside her in the main hall of the institute, looking at the students and scientists bustling about. Humans and Illyrians worked side by side, sharing knowledge, sharing laughter, sharing mistakes and triumphs alike. He felt proud not just for the institute, but for her. She had survived, she had thrived, and she had shown everyone that humanity was more than flesh and bone. It was heart. Celia looked at him, her glowing golden blue eyes reflecting the sun rising outside the tall windows. "Do you remember?" she asked softly. "The first day we met? I was afraid of that injector. Afraid of what would go inside me." Aaron chuckled. "How could I forget? You were terrified, but you trusted me anyway." She smiled faintly, but the smile carried years of experience, of pain survived and courage earned. "It wasn't just the injector," she said. "It was you. Your courage, your hope, your stubborn insistence that life is worth fighting for. That went inside me first, and everything else followed." Aaron shook his head, trying to hide a smile that threatened to break. "I never thought humans could change an alien's life so completely." Celia placed a hand on his arm. "Not change. Inspire. You showed me that living is not about perfection or rules or even survival alone. It is about connection, trust, and the bravery to face the unknown. You gave me that courage, and I will carry it always." For a moment they were quiet, watching the new generation of scientists work with wonder and determination. The hum of machines and laughter of students filled the hall. It was a sound Celia had never heard on Lyris 9. It was alive. And then, one of the young Illyrian students ran up to her, eyes wide with excitement. "Dr. Celia, look. The new hybrid simulation worked. The human nanites synced perfectly with the Illyrian neural lattice." Celia knelt down, her glow softening with pride. "Well done," she said warmly. "Remember, courage and patience are just as important as knowledge. And sometimes the most important thing is to trust the ones who stand by your side." Aaron watched her, heart full. He realized that she had not only survived, she had transcended the boundaries of two worlds. She had become a bridge, a symbol of what was possible when fear was replaced by trust and empathy. Later that night, they stood together on the observation deck, staring out at the galaxy. Stars stretched endlessly before them, glittering like scattered diamonds across a velvet sky. Celia leaned into him. "I was afraid of what would go inside me," she whispered. "I did not know it would be humanity itself." Aaron smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "It wasn't just inside you, Celia, it's everywhere now. In everyone who believes that courage and heart can change the universe." She smiled softly, the golden veins in her skin glowing faintly under the starlight. "Then perhaps the galaxy will remember that humans are more than their flaws and Illyrians more than their rules." that together we can do anything. And as they stood there side by side, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the universe itself acknowledged a simple, eternal truth: humanity changes everything it touches, even the hearts of alien worlds. In that quiet moment, two beings from different worlds, one human, one Illyrian, both extraordinary, understood something universal. Courage, trust, and compassion are the threads that bind all life, and with them, anything is possible.